I already know a lot of people are wondering, hey, Kneecaps, where you been at, man? Where you been? I've been getting my mind right, trying to kick some bad habits that's been keeping my brain all muzzled up. And so far, it's going good. But during the whole shebang, a nigga was really going through it. I'm telling you, during the pandemic, I was going insane. I was like arguing my mind like every other day, and I think it's because I was doing a lot of weed. Not that the weed was making me angry or nothing like that, but every time I did weed, especially the first few times, I'd feel a bunch of memories from my childhood that I thought I forgot or like didn't have the full picture to. Those memories would come back and hit like 10 times harder. Now, I was with my boys, high as hell on the lake, right? First time I went fishing, second time I've ever gotten high, and we had this vape pen. It had weed in it, right? While we're fishing, the high hits me, and my friend, I don't want to say his name just in case his parents watch my videos or something like that, right? But my friend, while I have the fishing pole in the lake, he says something to me because maybe I was spaced out or something like that. But I look back at him and I kind of respond and wince a bit. And I just start feeling tears like flowing down my face. And what happened was that I was remembering a time where I was back in Antigua, which is the island I was born on. I remember this time when my biological father, this was back when my mom and sister were, in the States, and I think they were still trying to get custody of me or something. But I remember this time my biological father, we were on his small sailboat, right? I was in the back, and he was just yelling at me and berating me for some reason. I don't even remember the whole thing, but he said something that made me feel real inadequate. I can feel like the emotion of the memory. Like I remember more the emotion of the memory more than I guess make out the words, because I think I was like 3 or 4 years old at the time. And my friends, both of them are like, are you okay? And I just keep on crying. And I'm high as hell thinking I'm going to cry all the liquid out my body and like die of dehydration. But eventually I stop crying and I kind of tell them what happened in the memory. But I started getting high more and more and, remembering more stuff, really good stuff and really bad stuff. But when the bad stuff hit, it really fucking hit. I was remembering all the times when my stepfather, back when he was just angry as fuck for no reason. And by the way, he's much better now, much more mentally stable. I don't want to start nothing or have people thinking he's some sort of monster. The nigga, he was, is human and, just doing human stuff. But I was having memories of the old him that I think I either just repressed or subconsciously convinced myself I was in the wrong for something he did. But I started remembering stuff. And I remember this one time we were coming back from church, and my older stepbrother, he had his shoes on the wrong way. Like his left shoe was on his right foot and his right shoe was on his left foot. Something that small. And my stepfather, he noticed it. He got pissed. He was talking about how he was going to beat him for it and everything. Now, I don't remember if he actually did. Maybe my brain's trying to protect me from something. Maybe I haven't hit that high level to unlock that memory. But I remember the time. I also remember the time, right? My mom was at work and I spilled some cereal on the ground, right? Milk in the bowl and everything. And he got so fucking upset. He was yelling at me, getting real aggressive. He's like, yum yum, which in our Caribbean dialect, it just means eat it. He's like, yum. And the cereal, because we have carpet, also it's been moisturized by the milk. It's got all this dirt and lint on it, and I'm just sitting there crying, eating this linty cereal off the ground. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, I guess this is my fault. I did drop my bowl of cereal on the ground. But as an adult, I'm just thinking, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck? I was a kid. Kids make mistakes like that all the time. I also started remembering all the times my older stepbro, he wasn't very good at school. And I started figuring out the reason why. Because one of the first times he started bringing home bad grades, my stepdad, he did not like that one bit. He beat the literal shit out of him. And I remember I just be in the living room hearing my stepbro in our bedroom, literally just crying his fucking soul out while my dad just hitting them over and over again. And when I was younger, I thought that shit made sense because, as a kid, you're real impressionable and a lot of the fucked up shit you see gets normalized in your brain. So I'm thinking, well, you did get bad grades, so I guess he deserved to have irreparable emotional trauma put on you. But as an adult, I'm just thinking to myself, I don't get how any sane individual could, number one, hit a child with so much force, whether it be your hand or a belt, and much less hit a child and hear them cry out to the point where they're bawling, they're just gasping for air, and then you just continue to hit them. And I was right, because he wasn't sane. I heard stories about how my stepdad, his cousin would treat him like shit. I think his uncle was the same way too. They heard him and, barked orders at him that made him have a lot of self-hatred for himself. And I think for some time, maybe he thought my mom was just using him for like a green card or something. And it made him feel even more insecure. So I think he just took it out on us. But I remember hating coming home, just being in that atmosphere, everything being so tense. Anytime he'd walk by, me and my stepbrother would just drop what we're doing, pretend like we weren't doing anything. We weren't having fun. And I'm thinking like, man, I was such a stupid ass kid. How could I have let somebody trick me into thinking I had to go through all that, that I deserved to be reprimanded with so much fury and aggression for making mistakes as a kid that a kid would and should do. But there's nothing I could do to go back and change it. And I don't blame them for it. I don't really blame humans for anything they do. I have more of the mindset that humans are just products of their environment. And like anything that you do, it's pretty much influenced heavily by what you came from. Black people especially, when you descend from a group of people who've been treated like animals, lived in poverty, been treated by the government as like inferior beings, it creates a cycle of violence, distrust, and abuse. So, I ain't really sweating it too much, but all those memories were coming back and hitting like a truck, and I had to get them out somehow, right? I started arguing with my mom a lot, started blaming her for a lot of shit. I was like, you let him do all this stuff to us. I started bringing up other stuff, talking about how religious she was. I was saying, you spent so much money donating to the church when you could have used it for better stuff like food, or even just stuff that would have improved my quality of life in school, like braces. All you think about is yourself. And, me saying that was more of a projection than anything, because at that time, I feel like maybe I was only thinking about myself and not really taking her feelings into perspective. But I was breaking down in front of her, telling her all the mean stuff some of the kids at my school said to me. And I was just so emotional. My sister, during this time of the pandemic, was getting pretty depressed. The father of her child was being a piece of shit, saying he doesn't love her anymore, sleeping with other women, hoes, So I decided, why not make a video that'll both cheer my sister up and also get these emotions out of me. And when I made the video, I didn't add in a lot of the stuff my mom did for me. I think all I did was just make her seem like a pious Christian person that didn't care about my well-being. And I knew it hurt her, because my mom knows how much I love her. She knows we're inseparable. She's literally my favorite person in the world. But at that time, I wanted her to feel hurt, like how hurt I'd felt just remembering everything. I was just being childish, super childish, wanting to get back at her somehow. So I made the video solely about what my sister did for me. And after that video, I think my sister called me saying how my mom called her crying and everything. And I felt so terrible, making people think like my literal favorite person in the world had such a small impact on me. And I was in my feelings. And the more weed I did, I felt like the more stagnant, the more self-reflective I was, the more just like stay stilly limbo, than just moving forward, So I started uploading less and less, taking even more and more breaks. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with weed if you're not an emotional little bitch like I am, and if you know how to use it properly. But I'm 5 days clean now. And literally for like 4.5 of those days, I was able to edit a whole video. Whereas when I was doing weed, I finished a video over the course of 3 weeks just because I was being so moody and everything, right? But yeah, that's where I've been. I'm sorry if I made anyone feel like shit during any part of the video. I really just want people to laugh and stuff, but I guess every now and then you got to get serious about something. So yeah. But before I go, if you enjoy emotion-filled projects, check out my nigga Apollo Reeves' recent album. This shit is some hot fire, alright? It's some heat, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. Y'all have a good night or a good morning, whatever the hell you're watching or listening to this video. Bye bye.